Part 21. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 201. It was probably because I had just taken a shower not long ago, so I still had a faint scent of shower gel on my body. It makes people feel a little excited. At the same time, he was probably getting ready to fall asleep, so he was not wearing his decorative pink-framed glasses. That is to say. Now this is her real look without makeup. Sakura-san is actually as beautiful as Horikita-san. On the first day of Kojima's exam, she was confused and forgot to put on her glasses, so it was quickly revealed that she was a super pretty girl. And now look. Beautiful indeed. But he also resisted the attack of beautiful girls in pink. After all, Oreki-san is either surrounded by the cute Sake Anaga-san or the awe-inspiring Horikita-san, and even interacts with the cute Kuruzawa-san, so the current Sakura-san is very cute, but he is also resistant. Horikita went to take a shower, so it wouldn't be good for Sakura to come over with Horikita Suzun's cell phone. So he was going to borrow Sakura's cell phone. Sakura and Kushida are friends. And Kushida is active in the class as a little angel. Then even if you switch to a backup machine, Sakura-san's friends will be added. He was blocked by Kushida, but not Sakura. Sakura-san's mobile phone GPS can still detect Kushida. So, after clicking on the GPS system that comes with the phone, Oreki-san immediately found Kushida's trace. If you want all students in the grade to cooperate in taking the Result 1 exam, you need to obtain the consent of each class representative. But Class A and Class D are easy to handle here. And Class B needs a beating. So what you really need to worry about is Class C. Long Yuan is a rebellious person, so if he hadn't hit the south wall, Long Yuan would not have looked back. At the same time, knowing that something is needed from him, he will add a lot of conditions. This is very troublesome. Yes. Oreki-san specially set a bait for Ryuan. Let Ryuan try to obtain information about favor recipients from other classes. Then let the Ryuan experience fail. The one Oreki-san sacrificed was Class D. Horikita-san's cell phones were all put in the safe, and this information was then sent to all the students in Class D. Let me tell you that the key to the safe is here with Horikita Suzun. In other words, after getting the key, you can go to the safe and get the mobile phone. After getting the mobile phone, you can directly see the information of the 3 preferential recipients of Class D. So, Long Yuan will take action. Ryuan will definitely drive the D-class spies into action to steal the key. Result. Is this spy Kushida-san you? Looking at the location of Kushida-san's backup machine marked on the phone, Oreki-san came to the top floor of the ship. This is also where Kojima took Horikita-san to find Kojinji before taking the exam. Open air. In addition to the protective fence, the most impressive thing is the endless starry sky. These starry skies are as beautiful as spider webs. This is an unpolluted sky that you will never see in the city. This is truly spectacular. There is a huge difference in scale between this beautiful scene and the pictures seen in books or videos. This is a night scene that cannot be seen in a big city. I never imagined that the bodies of these stars are just surface analogues of the moon. It is relatively late now, the sky is not bright, and there are no lights around, so it has a dark and hazy beauty, but not everyone will choose this time to come up and enjoy the beautiful scenery. Right. Oreki-san looked forward. There was a student standing alone on the guardrail looking up at the stars. There seems to be some loneliness. And judging from the outline, the other party is still a girl. Oreki-san tried to get a little closer to her. The sound of footsteps sounded. Not big. But the other party seemed to be very sensitive to the sound of footsteps. The figure turned around. She made a sound first. Eh? Oreki, classmate. Does this voice mean that you are Kushida? The figure that emerged from the darkness was Kushida Kikyo. She was looking over with a surprised expression. Are you that surprised? Yes. Because it is indeed a bit strange to come to a place like this at this time. I can't sleep a little bit, Oreki-san said. There are other ideas for this exam that are more difficult to implement. In other words, he probably came here because he was worried about something. So. But soon, he looked at Kushida-san. Kushida-san, are you alone too? Oreki asked. Yeah, Kushida nodded. I came here alone and felt like I couldn't sleep, so I wanted to come out and have a look. That's it? Not very reliable. Because it's only been a few dozen minutes since the meeting ended, and you're about to go to bed. Don't you want to take a shower? No. Some girls like to take a shower after waking up in the morning, so not washing at night is not a problem. And it doesn't mean that Kushida can't go to bed early. So the credibility of this explanation is 10%. She seemed to be observing his expression. She suddenly flipped up her smooth hair, but this kind of place is suitable for two lovers to come together. After all, the starry sky is so beautiful. Maybe, Oreki-san said. In that case, I will go back first. Saying this, Oreki turned sideways. Are you going back already? Kushida seemed not to have expected him to say that. Because I'm a little sleepy. Is that so? She seemed silent for a moment, but then showed a cute smile. See you tomorrow, Oreki-san, good night. Okay, good night. Kushida. Oreki nodded towards her. So he turned around and prepared to move forward. Took a step. He took 2 steps. Take 3 steps. Wait. Kushida's voice sounded. Oreki really stopped, but Kushida suddenly walked over and got close to his arms. Whether it is the girl's fragrance or the girl's soft body, they all bring strong sensory stimulation. This made Oreki unable to refuse and quickly looked towards her. Because this is a rare situation. This is Kushida-san coming over on his own initiative. I've been feeling bad these past 2 days, Kushida said. Is it? It's the first day of the preferential treatment test. The small island exam ended at noon yesterday. On the small island, Oreki-san took her to the number 41 stronghold to vent her anger about once every 2 days. Kushida Kikyo is not a white lotus, but has a dark side. She plays the Kushida that everyone likes, but she is under considerable pressure inside because she knows that a lot of people trust her and talk to her, but she doesn't. Things you can't tell others. Therefore, it is necessary to relieve stress regularly. For example, shoot the railing. But because she was discovered by Oreki's classmate while taking pictures of the railing, she felt a lot depressed. I no longer do this kind of thing. Then, when we arrived at number 41, we could vent our feelings again. Result. It has only been 2 days since you left stronghold number 41. Have your mood and psychological pressure increased again? Oreki-san did not turn around and was hugged by her. The sound of footsteps came from behind. It seemed that the person who wanted to go here was surprised to find Oreki and Kushida hugging each other, so he walked to another place. As if he heard the footsteps fading away, Kushida broke free from Oreki's arms. Oreki-kun, she said, as if her mood became more intuitive. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 202. You really went too far. Do you like Horikita Suzun that much? This money-making plan didn't involve me at all. That is to say. She finally realized that she had been skipped again in this plan. In other words, you are in a bad mood now, Oreki said. Are you in such a bad mood that you would betray Class D directly? Oreki-san continued. However, Kushida-san looked surprised. I'm quite disappointed in you. Oreki-san said. I used to think that although you have 2 faces, it is a personal expression after all, and there is nothing to say. As a result, Kushida-san, I didn't realize that you are also the kind of person who has no sense of honor or belonging to the class and betrays you casually. No, what are you talking about? Kushida quickly showed a pitiful expression of being wronged. Betrayal of the class or something dash. Isn't it? Oreki-san said. Someone came here just now and then left again. I've heard such footsteps before. If I guessed correctly, it should be Ryuan from Class C. Kushida. No. Have you ever heard the sound of footsteps like this? Then you will be able to identify it. You are very unusual. But Kushida-san is in a bad mood right now. So he could only purse his lips and continue to maintain his pitiful expression. But Oreki-san didn't let her go, so, Kushida-san, why did you contact Ryuan so late to come out? And suddenly he hugged me. To attract my attention. Saying this, Oreki-san held her shoulders. Kushida's complexion also turned pale. Damn it, I hate it, Kushida said quickly. I didn't contact Ryuan or anything. Is it? I thought you were going to steal the key to the safe from Horikita-san and give it to Ryuan. Oh no, I've already given it to him. The moment you hugged me, you stretched your left hand forward as if you were throwing something. And I have good hearing, so that was the sound of keys being thrown, Oreki said. Kushida. And Oreki-san continued. Horikita-san is still taking a shower, so there are about 10 minutes left. If you don't see the key, then you will find that the key has been stolen. As for you, Kushida-san, who is in the same dormitory with her, you will become the number one suspect. I would do this even if I ruined my friendship with Horikita-san. Kushida-san, what do you have to say? Oreki said. Kushida. Kushida. I hate it, I didn't steal the key, Kushida said quickly. Then can you explain why you blocked me? Oreki-san took out his cell phone. Your backup machine blocked me. Are you trying to hide something from me? What do you want to hide? Of course, I am afraid that you will be discovered doing such a thing, so make preparations first. Who knows if you can GPS her? Result. Did you follow me immediately because you found out I blocked you? Kushida said. And at this moment, Kushida's vocals have changed. There is no one else here. At the same time, she also discovered that Oreki Houtarou might have known that she would do such a thing from the beginning. Or rather, it was a game he set up. Because Horikita Suzun is willing to give her 200,000 directly this time, it means that Horikita Suzun may be able to get several million. So Oreki has always given Horikita Suzun 10% of the remuneration, wouldn't it mean that he would get tens of millions? So, in front of such a big score, he would not show such obvious flaws. Absolutely, Oreki-san nodded. After I found out that you blocked me, I found someone who was your friend and then located your location. Then I came here and found you. And as expected, Kushida, you betrayed Class D. As expected. As expected, he betrayed Class D. Do you know how scary it is when you say these words? Sure enough, it was the same game set up early in the morning. Could it be that, you guessed that I would betray the class? I didn't think it was you at first, Oreki said. But then I heard the conversation between Teacher Chibashira and Teacher Hashinomiya, and I found that Teacher Hashinomiya is somewhat similar to you. She is very attached to Teacher Chibashira. So I think your obsession with Horikita is also scary. For example, if you want to be friends with her, it would be more convenient for her to drop out of school or something. So I set up a bureau and asked Horikita to deliberately send a group message that all the mobile phones were in the safe and a key was needed for verification. And you fell for it? You and she are in the same dormitory, so it's easiest to get her. In the end, you really took action, Oreki-san said. Kushida. Kushida-san has nothing to say. Day. So is that so? She was not involved in the money-making plan, but she was involved in such calculated things. And it is also speculated that she will attack Horikita Suzune. Yes. Horikita keeps the entire class's cell phones. Then, if in this case, the information about the favored recipients of Class D is leaked, how will Horikita Suzune be viewed? Points will be lost first. At the same time, you will be distrusted by your classmates. So if there are other exams and someone must drop out, it would be very convenient for Suzune Horikita to drop out. You can also take the Class C line. Ryuan would also target Horikita during class confrontations. But these are now blocked. Kushida-san then became really fierce. Oreki Houtarou, what do you want to do now? Now he no longer thinks about what will happen if he betrays Horikita. She knew very well how terrible it would be if her almost betrayal of the class was exposed. So before this crisis, it is best to minimize the big problems. Didn't I say it? Oreki said calmly at this time. Yesterday I made a new request to you. But you rejected it ruthlessly and directly. And now, you won't reject me, right? Oreki-san said. Kushida. Ordinary Kushida. Surprised Kushida. Blackened Kushida. Ferocious, super fierce. Kushida-san has really become super fierce. You guy, stop pushing your limits. Then I think the students in Class D will be happy to hear what we just said. Oreki-san picked up the phone. The first time he encountered Kushida-san venting his emotions and kicking the railing, he forgot to record it. But this time, already prepared. So gently click on the recording. Could it be that, you guessed that I would betray the class? This is Kushida's voice. As long as it is played out, her image and becoming a class traitor will be terrible. Kushida. I hate it. The super fierce Kushida-san suddenly became sweet. Therefore, this guy Oreki Houtarou was obviously very handsome, but in the end, she couldn't like him. Then Oreki-san discovered that reality had become a notebook. I actually felt like a notebook, experiencing what it felt like to be a girl's muff. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 203. And the Other Side. Safe where valuables are kept safe. After Ryuan got off the top floor of the ship, he went to the safe. And the students in his class have already arrived. It's Shiina and Ishizaki, and Albert, and Kaneda. In the evening, when the monkey team's exam was announced on the radio, he received a message directly from Oreki Houtarou. From Hiyori's speculation, we can find that if what Hiyori said is correct, then Oreki Houtarou wants to kill all the first-year students as fat sheep. The subsequent information Oreki sent about the monkey group's preferential recipients was correct. And Ryuan is sure that there are no spies in his class. Therefore, this is not information Oreki obtained from a spy, but an inference. In other words, there is really a pattern to the preferential treatment. But Class A couldn't penetrate, and Class B refused because of the island. In the end, they discovered that on Class D's side, Horikita Suzune was keeping Class D's cell phone. In other words, if you get those mobile phones, you can get information about Class D's preferential recipients. So, maybe they can also deduce rules. Then, now is the time to get it? Although she was a little surprised that Kushida was a spy in Class D, she seemed to hate Suzune Horikita and was willing to betray Class D as long as Suzune Horikita could drop out of school. And now? Is it now? A little excited. Ishizaki Daichi clasped his hands together. He still thinks Oreki Houtarou can make money. How did you think that all the students would take result 1, and then get 80 million from the school openly? Therefore, Oreki-san like this may not really be a liar, because he has such a vision, so he will definitely not default on his debt. So Ryuan must have made a mistake before. The 15 students from Class B are still continuing their shop contract with Oreki-san. However, now Long Yuan also has this opportunity to make money. As long as they also get the rules of the favored ones, then they too can get a piece of the big plan. Then, the staff took over the key to 306 from Long Yuan. The safe is open. I didn't see any mobile phones inside. There is a note. The staff couldn't help but laugh and handed the note to Long Yuan. Everyone gathered around to take a look. There are only 5 words on it. You were fooled by Long Yuan. XN. Ah. For a moment, all the members of Long Yuan's think tank looked over. Everyone felt that Long Yuan was about to explode. Ryuan said before that Oreki Houtarou asked him how many points he still had in his hand. After being told that it was 800,000, he immediately took it away by bringing the student council president to report Ryuan's fight. Ryuan's evaluation of this was that Houtarou Oreki was leading him to predict his actions. In other words, now I want to get Class D's cell phone to get information about preferential recipients or something. It was predicted again. At this moment, they realized how terrifying Oreki Houtarou was. And the other side. By the way, what are you thinking about? Kushida-san put on his clothes. She still had to go back to her dormitory. I was wondering if the words I saw when Ryuan opened the safe wouldn't be angry enough, Oreki-san said. If it were Sake Inaga-san in my class, he would probably write it as it's so cute to take such painstaking efforts. This seems to be more irritating, Oreki said. Kushida. Kushida. Okay, stop talking. Because after Ryuan found out that he had been tricked, he would no longer trust her as a spy. So she still couldn't expel Horikita Susan from school. And today I also passively increased the unpleasant experience. Snort. Chapter 090 Kushida-san, why are you wearing clothes like, no, Horikita's clothes? Time 23:24 minutes. After watching Kushida-san return to the dormitory, Oreki-san also prepared to sleep. Certainly. As a price, Oreki-san also helped Kushida-san who betrayed Class D to deal with the aftermath, and told Horikita-san that the trap set against Ryuan had taken effect. Because the game was set up from the beginning, Horikita Susan didn't deliberately think about who in her class would steal the key. To be precise, she also took the solo route. So no matter what Class D becomes, it's normal. But probably I think about it day by day and dream about it at night. After falling asleep, Oreki-san soon realized that he was dreaming about Kushida and Horikita-san. Then I will be back in 3 days, lawyer Horikita said. It seems that the dream happened a long time ago. That was 10 years later. After graduating from Akyosei High School, Horikita chose to continue his education, and finally got admitted to the major he wanted, and then became a lawyer. He often defends the poor at very cheap prices and has a high reputation. It may also be because of such good deeds that she got a pair of daughters in the 4th and 5th years of marriage. Rings and sounds. However, because lawyer Horikita had to go on a business trip, he was given a cup for the plane. The explanation is, although I don't understand it very well, I think you may also feel lonely, so I will make do with it for now. She said this with her cheeks slightly red. In other words, after getting married in the future, will she still take care of this aspect of him? But Oreki-san felt that she seemed to be overly worried. Because he is not that exaggerated. Because he has been single for 18 years, it is easy to spend only 3 days. So for 3 days, I won't feel bad if I don't have a girl around me. And that kind of thing wouldn't be comfortable. Oreki-san just accepted the gift but didn't use it. But so about the children. Oreki-san doesn't seem to be very good at taking care of children. Kushida will come over later, lawyer Horikita said. Kushida. After sending lawyer Horikita away, Oreki-san stayed in the courtyard. Two children were also in the yard. The two daughters, like their mother, are quite good looking. And he has long black hair and delicate facial features. But the pupils were the same as his, dark green. This is the symbol of the Oreki family. Oreki-san remembers that his sister also had this eye color. Only. The children played in the sand. It seems that they were worried that the sand outside was dirty, so they specially divided an area in the yard and prepared it specially for them. Only. This is more difficult for him. Sitting aside, they looked at the more than 30 small holes they had dug. But because the girls are so cute, I won't feel bored watching them like this. Ah la la. You are taking care of the child today. However, when Oreki-san was in a daze, a female voice appeared outside the courtyard. After hearing this sound, Lingling and Union came to the door one step ahead of him. It's Auntie Kushida. No, it's Sister Kushida. Gift. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 204. It seems the children are familiar with her. And it seems that she has been trained to call beautiful big sister's sister and not aunt. As an adult, lawyer Horikita is less awe-inspiring, but more intellectual. And Kushida as an adult. She has long hair. It feels quite fresh. Hee, I know you two little guys like these dash. I bought you some snacks. I also brought you new toys, Sister Kushida said. She seems to be pretty good at dealing with kids. In other words, lawyer Horikita was specially asked to take care of the children, so he quickly played with the children for a while, then took them to eat snacks, and then Kushida put them to sleep. And Oreki-san is also a gentleman. Tea was prepared for her. Thank you for your hard work, he said. Why are you so hard? Sister Kushida said. It should be said that children are really troublesome. But they are easy to deal with. For it. You are still like this. Saying these words in front of him will make people less favorable. Then let's begin. But Kushida-sama didn't seem to have any intention of drinking tea. Of course I want to do something meaningful. Sister Kushida said, by the way, are Horikita Suzun's pajamas still in the third cabinet? Kushida's sister said. I just checked and found it's not there. I washed it last night and hung it on the balcony, Oreki said. Oh, then I'll collect it, Sister Kushida said. Go and collect it now. Yes, however, Sister Kushida looked at him strangely. If it wasn't to wear Horikita's clothes and sleep with her man, why would I come all the way here? Oreki. Probably because he felt too heartless, Oreki-san woke up in the middle of his dream. The clock next to the bed showed that it was only 3:39. Well. Probably because he thought he might not be able to sleep, Oreki-san sat with his arms around the quilt for a while. 8:30 a.m. According to the exam rules, 9-10 a.m. and 9-10 p.m. every day are the time when the school allows students to discuss the exam. However, because the dream he had last night was so outrageous, Oreki-san woke up very early and couldn't fall asleep. In this way, arrived early for the rabbit group room in room 204. Only. The body that had been transformed quickly realized that someone was already inside. Stand at the door. Oreki-san noticed that there was a very cute and charming top beauty girl sleeping on the floor inside, and this was Hanami Ichino's. The floor on the ship is made of wood, so it doesn't look dirty. But now she is not thinking about whether it is dirty or not, but she is wearing a short skirt, so the bottom of the skirt is looming. Can you see it? Can't see it, can see it? No, that shouldn't be the case. But I saw it. It's actually blue and white. Oreki-san thought it was because he didn't sleep well last night that he was paying attention to Ichino's like an idiot. It's just a fact that I saw it. So do you want to wake her up? It just doesn't seem right. She was not under duress, she probably just came early and felt sleepy after dinner. Moreover, Ichino's Class B was quite miserable. During the exams on Kojima, all members also went through a very difficult time. And this time the exam must be very painful. She had already been caught in the rain last time. I haven't made any achievements this time, so I must be under a lot of pressure, and maybe I didn't sleep well either. After Oreki came in, he kept quiet and didn't even move, because he knew very well that if he was a light sleeper, he might wake up at the slightest sound. But, as expected, it was because I deepened my relationship with Kushida-san and gained experience points. Oreki-san discovered that he was kind-hearted and tolerated Ichino-san, but then he chose to stay quiet. Result: watching so quietly. You will find that Ichino-san's thighs are smooth and beautiful, so aren't they super cute? Oreki recognized the charm of this beautiful girl who was number 1 in her grade. It's just that some people are very good at sleeping. She didn't even know someone touched her while she was asleep. Wrong. Oreki felt that ever since he accidentally saw Horikita-san's underwear and Kushida-san without underwear, he has become abnormal. Because even now, he felt that the classmate Hanami Ichino's lying on the ground was very cute, and his thighs were beautiful and smooth, and he subconsciously thought what would happen if he touched her. So I said it. However, at this time there was a voice outside the door. Is there anyone? Ichino's. Considering that Ichino's might be exposed, he quickly walked in, and then squatted down to wake up Ichino's. So that show is super interesting. However, the person who made the sound did not look into 204 at all, but was just passing by while talking to a friend. The sound began to fade away along with the footsteps. It turned out to be just passing by. But Ichino's had already woken up. Ah, Oreki-san, why are you in my room? A room? Ichino-san, you are probably asleep. This is the examination room for the exam, Oreki said. Ah, however, Fanbo suddenly blushed. Does that mean I fell asleep here? Probably, Oreki said. But while they were talking, a member walked in. It was Machida-san from Oreki's class. But students in class are students in class after all. Machida-san noticed that Oreki was talking to Ichino's on the ground and felt that he was getting in the way. So, he walked out quickly. However, Ichino's woke up because of this. Then other students came in, so finally, under the school's radio announcement, the members of the Rabbit group held a third meeting. Third meeting. During last night's meeting, Oreki-san just read a book. And today, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, please gather in private room 3 of Archangel Gabriel restaurant. Oreki informed Ichino's. This is. Ichino seemed puzzled. It's about the final questions and solutions for this time's preferential treatment test, Oreki-san said. At the same time, my class already has information about Class B's preferential recipients, Oreki said. Ichino's. She has information about the favored recipients in her class. Does this mean that the information about the favored recipients in her class has been leaked, or is it, because of other reasons? Ichino's looked over in shock. But Oreki-san has already moved to his original position. He brought 3 books with him. They are Quantum Mechanics, A Brief History of Time, and Resurrection. Because Long Yuan has already bitten the hook, there is no need to continue to waste time. Therefore, a meeting with representatives of the 4 classes can be held in the afternoon. And he also entrusted Horikita-san with the same notification. According to the 4 teachers, the Dragon Group is a class where class representatives from each class gather. But because of Mr. Majima's actions, it caused a chain reaction. So Ichino's, the representative of Class B, is in his Rabbit Group. That's why he had to notify Ichino's additionally. Then all it takes is for each class representative to sign an agreement at 3 o'clock. But there is a slight exception. That is, Oreki-san just sat down to read a book. A small white hand stretched out. Can you lend me the book A Brief History of Time? Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 205. The sound is quite nice. And this is Kurosawa-san. Now during the exam period, I can't contact my classmates, so I want to read for a while, she said. Indeed. Except for the monkey group, the exam has ended, and students in other groups need to have interviews according to the exam rules. Regardless of the content of the meeting, it can also be like Oreki-san and the others reading a book. But it was impossible to tell whether other groups were having intense talks or looking for information about favored recipients. So, even holding your phone can disturb your friends. Then reading is very convenient. Good. Oreki-san then handed the book A Brief History of Time to Kurosawa. At this time, he looked towards the girls in Class C. Ibuki continued reading. And Manabe and the others also arrived. But he stayed in the corner as if he were cowering. The three people were holding mobile phones, but they didn't look here, or they didn't dare to look here. After all, in their eyes, it was impossible to confirm whether Horikita Suzun had sent their photos that no one could see to Oreki-san. That's quite a shameful scene. Then, quickly, Oreki received the message. The girls in Class C seemed to be a little afraid of me by Kurosawa. When I entered the rabbit team's door, Manabe from Class C actually gave way. Profound. Would a student in Class C actually be honest after being beaten? The effect is so good. Birds of a feather flock together, and most of the students in Class C are of the same kind. I just don't know if Ryuan is the kind of person who can be honest even after being beaten. Oreki-san thought to himself. Yesterday, I asked Horikita-san to beat them up and then take photos of them without clothes. Unless it's shameless, then they won't dare to trouble you again. Oreki-san picked up his phone and replied. I didn't sleep well last night, but I felt like sleeping again while reading the book. So Oreki focused his attention on his cell phone. Kurosawa almost couldn't hold the phone. Almost astonished, she cast her clear eyes on him. But he quickly focused his attention on his mobile phone. Because Oreki-san sent another message. It's undeniable that this approach is efficient. Also, Horikita-san took the photo, and Horikita deleted it after taking it. So it's just to intimidate them. Oreki explained the message. Oh. Megami seemed to accept this statement. But she seemed to be paying attention to other places. So, Horikita-san's side Megami seemed to be thinking about words. In fact, in school, everyone thinks that you and Horikita are often together. Then my friend wondered if you were in a relationship. Are my friends suspicious? She is my partner now, and her brother asked me to take care of her. Oreki-san is typing. And she won't be interested in a relationship while she's in school. I also feel that falling in love during school hours is quite time-consuming. Oh. In other words, you didn't fall in love during high school. Hui then sent, over. I don't know how she feels. Perhaps it was as if he was rejected before he even confessed his feelings. But he feels a little reassured because he is not in love, so doesn't that mean that others have no chance? Including Horikita-san. Lunch break. Oreki-san asked Horikita out. You can have a meal together and exchange information at the same time. Although they can use mobile phones, neither Oreki-san nor Horikita are the kind of people who like to play with mobile phones. So they are still used to meeting each other. So the two of them came to the restaurant together. But shake hands first, Oreki-san said. Horikita Suzun. Up to you. So Horikita Suzun put her left hand on the table without any expression. Oreki-san moved his chair and intertwined his fingers with hers. Shaking hands with Horikita Suzun gave her a feeling of peace of mind. But when shaking hands with Kushida, I always feel that most of my thoughts are about Scarlet. Probably because I felt sorry for her in my dream last night. So Oreki-san only let her go after experiencing it for 10 seconds. By the way, didn't you take care of that girl from class A today? Horikita seemed to be concerned about other things. The divine room. I'm giving her a day off today. I keep bossing her around, I'm not that unkind, Oreki said. Actually, I think Kamuro is Sakayanagi-san's little spy. If she sees this scene, she may report it to Sakayanagi. Although Kamuro has been weighing which master to follow. So it's swaying from side to side. Oreki could drive her, but it was Kamuro-san who took Ibuki back on his own initiative. You can imagine how many points will be deducted if the leader information of class A is leaked. She will probably be complained by the whole class. So Oreki helped her complete it. Everyone still thinks about her, this is the popular person in front of Sakayanagi Yuzu. However, with the end of Kojima's exam, Kamuro-san's excuse for almost bringing a spy to the class became invalid. So there is one less handle to hold onto Kamuro-san. Then all that's left is to trick her subtly. Kamuro can receive 200,000 pets from Banlieue classmate every month. And using money to corrupt her is unrealistic. She doesn't like spending money very much. And he has been trained to look like Sakayanagi. So at this stage, Oreki-san chose to give her a holiday. Let her experience freedom from slavery. So Kamuro-san is now free. I feel uncomfortable. Kamuro had already had lunch and then lay down in the room. But she found that she didn't know how to get through this time. Normally, at this time, Sakayanagi would arrange for her to prepare meals or do other things. So now that I have some free time, I feel that I am not used to it. No, dash. What's wrong with having some free time now? And Kamuro-kun, who was not used to it, quickly reacted. What's wrong with having your own time? It's not like she has to be on standby all day long. And the other side. Oreki and Horikita had already finished their meal, so they went to the bar on the deck. You can have a drink or look at the sea scenery. For students who have been restricted by school for 3 months and will continue to be restricted for more than 2 years, this is one of the few times they feel free. However, there were some students in the distance carrying bread to feed the seagulls that had fallen on the deck. However, some students found that they seemed to like them more when they were fed French fries. It's a cloudy day today, so even spending the afternoon on the deck will be fine. Horikita ordered a cup of coffee, while Oreki-san ordered a cup of poplar nectar. Although girls like sweets very much, he doesn't hate them either. In other words, Ryuan publicly cooperated with Class B during the Dragon Team discussion today, Oreki said. Yes, Horikita nodded and informed that during the discussion of the Dragon group this morning, she informed others that everyone would gather at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But Ryuan directly sought cooperation from Kanzaki. It seems that he already understands what Oreki-san wants to do, but he is very unwilling to do so. I want to resist one last time. The plan to get preferential treatment recipients from Class D failed, but it was impossible to get them from Class A. If the Itanyanagi and Katsuragi factions are antagonistic, then there is still hope for Ryuan. But now the Sakayanagi faction is controlled by Oreki-san. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 206. So there is no possibility of leakage. Unless that classmate wants to be expelled from the class. Moreover, no student in class A would be so stupid to start a class in which he has always had an advantage. And even if Long Yuan wanted to buy it, he couldn't offer a price that would make people betray him. So Ryuan can only look for Class B. Yo. And when Long Yuan was just mentioned, Long Yuan, who was very reluctant, had already appeared. Ryuan took Albert with him. It was the first time I saw him on the deck. "You two have a really good relationship," he said. "But Horikita. Oreki and the other girls had a wonderful night last night," Ryuan said. "Oreki." And Horikita Suzun looked over. "Oreki. Indeed, he had a good experience before going to bed last night, but what Ryuan said meant that he went to check the safe." Ryuan's mood became very bad. "That's why I said this on purpose. But it is useless to try to divide the relationship between him and Horikita-san. Although the two of them were intertwined with each other a moment ago. But Horikita-san is unaware of love, and Oreki-san never thought of falling in love in high school." Ryuan had already sat down on the chair at the bar to the left of Oreki. "I don't want to talk to you now," Oreki said. "If you have any questions, see you at 3 in the afternoon." He. Seemingly being rejected, Long Yuan left with a frozen smile. And Albert followed closely behind. "Don't we need to do more processing?" Horikita said as he watched Ryuan leave. "If he goes to cooperate with Class B." Oreki had analyzed to her before that Ryuan was a very cunning person and needed Ryuan to fail once before Ryuan would be obedient. But now, Long Yuan is still struggling. "Ryuan's statement about seeking cooperation with Class B is false," Oreki-san said. "Huh," Horikita was puzzled. Because now Oreki's Sakayanagi-san has deduced the rules of the preferential recipients through the information about the preferential recipients of Class A and Class D. And if Long Yuan can get the information about the preferential recipients of Class B, then it can also make regular deductions. So, is this kind of thing actually false? SHH-. At this time, Oreki gently raised a finger. Then, Horikita Suzun looked at him and walked to the chair next to him. Ryuan was sitting there just now. Turning the chair sideways, I immediately saw a cell phone with a white case taped to the bottom of the chair. And the screen of this phone is on. It's obviously in recording mode. And this chair is the chair that Long Yuan sat on just now. In other words, Long Yuan sat down for a lie, but actually to place a mobile phone here. He wanted to eavesdrop on the conversation between Oreki and Horikita Suzun. Ryuan and Class B had an agreement to exchange basic supplies on the island, but they arranged for spies to come there, and the students of Class B were already in the dark, so Ryuan tried to persuade Ichinose or Kanzaki for a while. Disaster. Moreover, we directly requested that representatives from the 4 classes start a meeting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He doesn't have enough time. So it's a lie to seek cooperation with Class B. It just creates this kind of atmosphere, and the purpose is to get information from us, Oreki said. In other words, this is the last time Ryuan wants to struggle. Horikita-san felt educated. The students in this school are really different. But the scariest thing is you. He completely predicted Long Yuan's current actions. Oreki-san. Then Horikita felt that the scary Oreki-san seemed to be contacting his class teacher and Kushida-san from Class D respectively. Huh, Horikita was puzzled. But I found out that the teacher of Class A, Mr. Mashima, replied with a price of 500,000. And Kushida sent a phone number. Ryuan is a very confident person, Oreki said. It can be seen during the exam on the small island that he chose to become the team leader and then survive in the wilderness on the small island. He likes to be hands-on and very confident at the same time. So, I think there is a high probability that this phone belongs to Ryuan, Oreki said. I just asked Kushida for Ryuan's number. Then he clicked on the number Kushida sent. A call was made. Soon. The phone vibrated under the chair. It seems that it is indeed Long Yuan's mobile phone. I just consulted Mr. Majima. If a student's mobile phone is lost and cannot be found, how many points must be paid to apply for a replacement from the school, Oreki continued. So, this is the meaning of the 500,000 sent by his class teacher. If the mobile phone cannot be found, you will need to pay a high price of 500,000 to reissue it. Wait a moment. Could it be that? Horikita Suzun looked over in astonishment. But Oreki had already called the staff. The red-haired boy just now made me very angry. Please help me deal with the chair, he touched. Oreki said. Just throw it into the sea. I will pay for the destroyed assets, and I will also pay a tip of 100,000. Understood. Even the compensation for throwing away a chair is only 5 to 6,000 points. But 100,000 points is enough for half a month's salary. The staff nodded immediately. After being paid the points, he directly threw the chair with Ryuan's cell phone tied to it into the sea. The water was calm, but it also made a thud. And now Oreki-san turned around and said. Long Yuan has one more situation where he has to bow his head. He doesn't have much money in his class, and he will be reported by Ichino's class when he returns to school. So I didn't get many points, and I didn't get many class evaluation points. At the same time, it was revealed that the monkey group was also the favored one in his class. And himself. Now he has to change his mobile phone, so he still has to prepare 500,000 points. I think by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, he will be good, Oreki said. Horikita. From this point of view, Long Yuan is indeed, there is no other way. At this moment, Horikita-san felt that it was right not to choose the goal of taking Class D to be promoted to Class A at the beginning. Otherwise, she would be the one who is predicted to be here now. In this way, considering that it was only around 12 o'clock, there was still some time before 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so Oreki-san and Horikita-san were going to take a lunch break. Oreki is going to catch up on her sleep, while Horikita Suzun is going back to watch Flow and Time Management Master recommended to her by Oreki. These two books. Consider improving your own efficiency. She doesn't get tired of studying for 10 hours a day, but she also does envy Oreki-san's efficiency. Then, both had a nice lunch break. But half an hour later, Long Yuan brought his small team to the bar. He introduced it. There is no other chance this time. In the morning, Horikita Suzun has already started notifying representatives of the 4 classes to gather for discussions, Ryuan said. I want to get the information about the preferential treatment recipients of Class D. Oreki Houtarou has predicted this. And Ichino's and the others are still upset about the fact that information was leaked by spies because of the Kojima exam. So it was hard to get them to trust me. So now I can only check the cell phone I tied to the chair to see if I can eavesdrop on any useful information, and then restrain Oreki. Then try to increase the conditions as much as possible, Long Yuan said. Others nodded. The current situation of Class C is indeed very bad. Especially the preferential recipient of the monkey group has been guessed, so the exam is not over yet, so their class will be deducted 50 points. And if I get 100 points deducted because of Ichino's and the others back at school, I'm afraid, the classmates in the class will make a fuss. And during the discussion this morning, I deliberately said in front of Horikita Suzun that I would join forces with Kanzaki and the others. So I hope that in the discussion between Horikita Suzun and Oreki, there will be information about Class B's preferential recipients, Ryuan said. Hope so. Canada and the others also thought so. And then found out. Where were the chairs at the bar? Long Yuan discovered a strange place. That was half an hour later, and the chairs at the bar were all changed to red. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 207. It was all black before. Oh. This the staff member said. The previous customer requested that the chair you were sitting on before be disposed of, because it would be weird to have a chair missing and then fill it with other colors, so I changed it to a different color. Long Yuan didn't react for a while. Until all the removed chairs have been inspected. Ryuan finally understood what was happening. Ishizaki, lend me your phone. Ryuan took away Ishizaki Daiichi's phone. GPS positioning is used. Result. Long Yuan, your mobile phone seems to be unable to locate it. Can't locate it? Either it was shut down due to lack of power, or it was damaged. But Long Yuan knew very well that this was not a shutdown, but being thrown into the sea. Many exams in this school will send notifications through mobile phones. So it is impossible not to have a mobile phone. Hey, teacher Ban, yes, I want to ask, if the mobile phone distributed by the school is lost, no, if it is the kind that cannot be found dash. Does that mean it's specially customized? 500,000, then why don't you grab it? No, I mean, will it be too expensive? I'm not scolding you. I understand, so please apply for me. I lost my phone. Ryuan ended the call. And he knew that his companions were watching him. The plan for a mobile phone strapped under the chair was sent, he said. Oreki Houtarou asked the staff to throw my mobile phone into the sea. And a mobile phone is worth 500,000. Everyone. In other words, let alone struggling to seek benefits for Class C, Ryuan is already burdened with a debt of 500,000 yuan before it even starts. According to the current class evaluation scores of Class C, he also collected points from his classmates several times. So it is indeed a bit difficult to bear. And on the other side, school. Today is Saturday, students have a day off, but the members of the student union need to work together. P.S. Treasure, the monthly vote list is only 700 votes away from the previous one. Ask for help. 3 updates today. There are 3 updates today, this is the first. There will also be a tally of bounties tomorrow. Oh. Chapter 091 Nagamo, if Oreki can earn 20 million, I will eat the display screen. Yasheng High School is a school that values students' independence and decentralizes authority. The student union, as the top of the students, has access to many important contents. For example, knowing students' test results in advance. Even the most informed changes to class evaluation scores for each grade. But for the current student unions, they are busy. Because they had just gone through a special exam in school. Then the evaluation scores of each class are also updated. Among them, the evaluation scores of 2nd grade also got updated. In the first month of freshmen's enrollment, the evaluation scores for the 2nd grade are as follows. Class A 1900 points. Class B 1100 points. Class C 1000 points. Class D has 900 points. Then we went through the written exam together. All 4 classes received the school's highest award of 100 points. Class A 2000 points. Class B 1200 points. Class C 1100 points. Class D has 1000 points. However, after the special examination in June, it has become like this. Class A 2000 points. Class B 1100 points. Class C 900 points. Class D has 800 points. Yes. This time the test score for 2nd graders is 200 points. The difference is 200 points awarded and 200 points deducted. As a result, the class evaluation scores of the 4 classes not only did not increase, but some were also deducted. Except for Class A of the 2nd grade, the other 3 classes are all deducting points. This is quite a rare scene. Because everyone knows that Nanyun controls the 2nd grade, no matter what kind of exam it is, the class representatives of the 4 classes will sit down and start dividing it up. Then you can definitely get benefits. So the points deduction this time seems very new. But this should be led by Nagamo. Because there is no evidence that the 2nd grade has escaped his control. In other words, he finally understood that the school could not simply be slaughtered as a fat sheep. I vomited out some of the points I ate. The scores for the third graders changed very quickly. When they entered school, they were still Class A 2,645 points. Class B 1,701 points. Class C 695 points. Class D 90 points. Then I passed an exam. Class A 2,530 points. Class B scored 1981 points. Class C scored 509 points. Class D has 0 points. In this exam, Class B of the third grade fought hard to catch up and scored 280 points, which is quite brave. But now, the third update has been made. Class A 2,570 points. Class B 1,750 points. Class C 659 points. Class D 210 points. This data is actually slightly problematic. Because from numerical analysis alone, in this test, third grade Class A defended its identity as Class A, and at the same time achieved some gains in scores. Third grade Class B, however, dropped very quickly. Last month, it was chasing 280 points, but this month it lost another 231 points. However, the values of Class C and Class D are abnormal. Because Horikita Academy's third grade Class A only increased by 40 points, but Class C and Class D both increased by more than 100 points, so they were considered the biggest winners in this exam. Certainly. Even though they have momentum now, they are only half a year away from graduating from third grade. So basically there is no way to get them back, and no one has expectations for them. The above is the change in class evaluation scores between second and third grade students. Speaking of dash, Secretary Ju Jian, who was working, suddenly started talking. The first year students are already taking the preferential treatment test. Examination for preferential candidates. Every year in the third month of admission for new students, there is the traditional small island test and the preferential candidate test. And this is also the first watershed in terms of scores that the freshmen will see throughout the year. It's a reminder of what I did back then. And Nanyunya, who was doing accounting work, suddenly raised his head. Artificial island test and preferential treatment test. Nagayunya received an increase of more than 300 points in class evaluation and accumulated more than 5 million points. It played an important role in his eventual promotion of Class B to Class A at the end of the first grade and then taking control of the second grade. From this perspective, it is indeed excellent. You must know that at that time, Nagayunya had only been in school for a few months, and then she could hold millions of huge points. She was indeed very awesome. Horikita Manabu also saw this, and finally pulled Nagamo to the student union through comprehensive evaluation from various aspects. But it is a pity. This is the danger of raising tigers. At the same time, Nanyun never meant to change his mind. After Nagayun joined the student union, he had the ability to do things, but he also used the huge points he received to constantly corrupt other members of the student union. At the same time, it seems that they want to pursue the principle of strength first. Horikita Manabu doesn't agree with this. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 208. Because there is no need to judge someone so decisively and then directly deny it, so he is the type who gives people opportunities. I'm afraid that if Nagamo comes to power, there will be a lot of fluctuations in scores and more students will drop out. This is not what he wants to see. In this month's second grade exam, Nagayun obviously kept a low profile. But Horikita Manabu knew that the results of this third grade exam were abnormal. His own class could only gain a few points, and then Class B, a third grade class, had a huge deduction. As a result, Class C and Class D were able to increase their class evaluation scores by 100 or even 210 points. It shows that there are indeed external forces involved. It is possible that Nagamo intervened in the third grade class competition. And this also shows that Na-Yoon was relieved of his position as vice president, but Nan-Yoon still did not give up his position as student council president. If he doesn't give it, then Nagayoon wants to grab the position of student council president himself. Horikita Manabu closed his eyes. And now they were talking about first grade. Speak of it. Horikita took off his glasses, then took out the glasses cloth from the glasses case and wiped them gently. Exam for preferential treatment candidates. Have you all thought about it seriously? Think seriously. Nanyun looked over. On the days when Oreki Houtarou was not at school, he felt that the air seemed to become fresher. And Horikita Manabu's sharpness towards him has also become much less intense. In fact, Nagayoon still respects this powerful senior, but it is a pity, because after studying the third graders, you will find that the third grade class is just an empty frame. Most of the students in class are relatively mediocre and basically rely on Horikita. Therefore, this senior Horikita has actually been working hard, leading the class up by himself. And Nagamo has also been a member of the student council for a while and discovered that Horikita Manabu actually cheated without using the authority of the student council president. In other words, absolute impartiality was maintained. And this is difficult to do. So he has respect for Horikita Manabu. But when President Horikita refused to nominate him as the next student council president, President Horikita also became his enemy. So he participated in this third grade exam, and once he took action, he was very violent. Presumably, things will become very different next time. President Horikita will soon taste the bitter consequences of confronting him. And Nanyun was in a good mood for 2 days here. He recently discovered a super cute girl at school. He swore that this was the cutest girl he had ever seen since birth. She has silver white straight hair, a delicate physique, and delicate facial features like a doll. So cute. And she seemed to be in poor health and suffered from congenital heart disease. So you need to use a walking stick when moving. This is really touching. I feel pity for you. At the same time, the other party is a freshman, a student in Class A. Due to health reasons, I am unable to follow everyone to take the small island exam. So I had to stay in school alone. And Nagamo thought that he could be trained properly, because wasn't Oreki Houtarou also a student of Class A? Although I feel there is no need to fight with Oreki Houtarou now. To be precise, he had already lost 2 rounds, and Nagamo also suddenly realized that Oreki, a first-year student, even sold the student council position that Horikita had given to Oreki directly to his classmates. It means that the other party is not interested in being the student council president. So why do I have to fight with him? But it is still possible to bury a nail. So he decided to tell the super cute girl the school's rules for selecting students when necessary. Then, the previous Ichino senpai was really too ignorant. Therefore, he wanted to use her hand to attack Ichino's. Ichino senpai is excellent in all aspects and is very popular. These are plus points, so her weak points must be fatal. By the time, as long as the schoolgirl from class A succeeds in attacking Ichino's and Ichino's fails, and he extends his hand and accepts it graciously, in other words, at this stage, the schoolgirl from class A will also be conquered. Oh! Suddenly I felt that this kind of high school life was not bad. And now, did you hear Horikita senpai talking about preferential treatment? I'm afraid he didn't want to blow on Houtarou Oreki. He. Nanyun said calmly. This time the preferential candidate test. I admit, Oreki is indeed very good. If I were in Horikita senpai's shoes, then I would also recruit him into the student council. But I'm worried about him. Although his class A got a high score of 471 points in this island exam. But don't forget that first year Class D also flies very fast, right? Nanyun said. The first grade Kojima exam has ended. The score changes for 4 of the classes were: first grade class A add 471 points. First grade class B add 300 points. First grade class C add 0 points. First grade class D add 650 points. I should say how did this group of contestants get such high scores? Naeun scored 300 points here in the past, which he felt was pretty good. Although not as good as the 402 points obtained by Horikita Manabu. But this year's first grade looks so weird. Is the school's score so easy to get? It makes them look like trash. This year's first-year students are quite unique. Horikita put his elbows on the table, and his 2 palms were folded to support his chin. First-year Class D is probably the worst in previous years, but it is also the most surprising. But Class A of the first grade is the best in the past years. It cannot be denied that all our past classes did not know the school rules on the first day of school, nor did they receive additional rewards from the school. Oh. This. Of course Naeun knew. But Chairman Horikita, do you think Oreki Houtarou and the others will achieve surprising results in the current preferential treatment examination? Nanyun said. I don't think so. Because look at the class evaluation scores of the 4 classes in the current first grade. Class A in the first grade is very stable, but Class B is far away from Class A. At the same time, Class C is about to fall back to school. As for Class D, their points have skyrocketed and they definitely want to maintain it. So, this time the preferential candidate test is expected to be very intense. Both have reasons to fight. So for this kind of exam, the final scores must be very close. Then it's just a difference of 50 points more or 50 points less. Is it? Horikita Manabu said. The connotation of the preferential treatment test I just mentioned. Nagayun, you may not understand. Actually, there is an optimal solution to this exam. But I didn't answer it back then. Because I hadn't met you yet. But now, I think Oreki can answer it, Horikita Manabu said. Nanyun, you may not understand yet. Because you were probably copied by him. Nanyun didn't understand this sentence. What do you mean Oreki copied him? Then. The very intense test of preferential treatment continues on the luxury liner. 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Gabriel Archangel Restaurant, in private room 3. Class A, Oreki Houtarou, Katsuragi Yasuhei. Class B, Hanamai Ichinos, Ryaji Kanzaki. Class C, Ryuan Sho. Class D, Kushida Kikyo, Horikita Suzuan, Hirata Yasuke. A total of 8 students gathered together. If Mr. Majima hadn't changed the roster at the beginning, then this would have been the Dragon Team's roster. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 209. But I fell asleep a little late, Oreki-san said. It was a few minutes past 3 o'clock when he arrived at the private room. Originally I just wanted to take a nap, but because I didn't sleep much last night, I stayed in bed all of a sudden. But everyone came. So, as soon as Oreki arrived in the private room, everyone looked over. Ryuan, haven't you got your cell phone yet? Oreki spoke first to Ryuan Sho, who was sitting on the outermost side of the private room with his hands in his pockets. Don't you know best about my mobile phone? Long Yuan smiled. Then he glared over. It seems that he has gone back to the bar and learned that it costs 500,000 points to change a mobile phone. So I'm already in debt. Then it seems you already know what to do, Oreki said. Humph, Long Yuan snorted. Then he closed his eyes. Except for Horikita-san, the others didn't understand what happened. But, Oreki-kun, when you say you know the information about the preferential recipients in my class, you mean? Ichi-nose couldn't hold it back. In other words, Ryuan was under a lot of pressure in this time's preferential candidate examination. And Ichi-nose was under a lot of pressure. Their current class evaluation score is 970 points. But Class D also caught up. Then Class A also looked hopeless. So something needs to be done. About this point. Horikita-san, are you ready? Oreki did not reply to Ichi-nose immediately, but looked at Horikita Suzune. Among the 4 class representatives, only Class D has 3 people. Of course, it doesn't mean that Class D is the most awesome. But, Class D is in a state of division, and it takes several people to confirm something. At the same time, everyone also discovered that Kojinji from Class D, who was very powerful in the Kojima exam, was not there. In other words, isn't Kojinji actually the representative of Class D? Horikita Suzune was the first to arrive in the private room. She opened a folder she had been holding and took out about 10 pieces of information from it. Wrong. Like a contract. Kusita was familiar with this scene. Because wasn't that what it was like when you opened a store and tricked people into signing a contract? It's almost a replica. But, obviously, it seems that she has not been able to participate in the money sharing now. It is better to say that she can only pretend to know nothing now. After all, last night she betrayed Class D and was caught by Oreki. This was enough to destroy her image. Then, Horikita Suzune distributed the agreement. I am a member of the Rabbit Group. Before, during the first discussion, Ichino-san put forward the opinion that everyone can choose to go to Result 1. The result is that every student can learn from the school openly and honestly. Get money on the side. I think it's a good plan. So I recommend extending it to all groups, Oreki-san said. For it. Ichi-nose was a little surprised when Oreki-san proposed her initial plan. But she doesn't think this is a good thing. In other words, now that so many class representatives have been called over, she thinks it might be a big deal. But Hirata and Kusita, who seemed to be suddenly called over, already understood. In other words, does Oreki-san want all students to go to Result 1? Everyone chooses to send the information of the preferential recipients to the school between 9:30 and 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Then each member of the group can get 500,000 points. The preferential recipients in the group can get a reward of 1 million. This is a situation of common prosperity. At the same time, there will be no increase or deduction in class evaluation scores. But this is not a situation that Class B wants to see. As long as you guess the information of a favored person in another class, and then answer the question, you can shorten the 100-point class evaluation score with the other person. They couldn't give up. But everyone has the deal now. There are only 2 simple lines on it. On behalf of all the students in the ABCD class, I would like to unconditionally transfer half of the school's reward points obtained in the preferential candidate examination to Oreki Houtarou. Sign and stamp. But these 2 lines of words put a lot of pressure on people. Because I said we were going to get Result 1, but in the end we were dividing all the students, said Ryaji Kanzaki, the representative of Class B. For Kanzaki Ryaji, the Kojima test was barely acceptable, but in the preferential treatment test, he was assigned to the Dragon Group and was tortured several times by Ryuan, and now he was told to take all the points earned by everyone go halfway. My mentality is already a bit broken. Absolutely, Oreki-san said with emotion. Because I have already cooperated with Yuanji-san and obtained the information about the preferential recipients of the Monkey Group. Yuan Temple. Although Takahiraji is not here now, Takahiraji's performance in the Kojima exam makes people cast a shadow on him. The Yuan Temple directly and almost completely surrounds the stronghold on the island. It shows that he has taken the lead. That is to say, this time, the exams for the privileged candidates are regular. And is Junji involved again this time? And people like Ichinose and Kanzaki knew very well that Takahiraji was in the monkey group, and the monkey group suddenly ended its exam last night. It's just that I couldn't understand what Junji was thinking at that time. Is this the result? Junji's team scored 600 stronghold points alone, which put a lot of pressure on Class B. So for a moment, Ichinose and Kanzaki-san looked at each other. His expression became serious. Horikita Suzun. Long Yuan. There were two other people present who didn't think so. Horikita knew that the monkey team ended the exam because Oreki had obtained the law of preferential persons, so that was just a verification. And Ryuan also knows that you, Oreki Houtarou, clearly deceived Class D from the beginning and deceived all the information about Class D's preferential recipients. According to Shiina, you need to know at least 5 preferential treatment recipients' information before you can deduce the rules. Therefore, even if Juyuan Temple can provide information about a preferential treatment recipient, there is no way to deduce the rules. So this is to put the blame for this matter on Gao Yuanji and continue to carry it. But let's just say what Oreki says now. Long Yuan knew very well that he had struggled and could not find any advantage. Then he also shouldered a debt of 500,000. While thinking this, he noticed that Oreki Houtarou looked over. It seemed to be looking at him. Oh no, not at him. Long Yuan glanced at the agreement in front of him. Wrong. There seems to be something behind his agreement. Could it be that? Ryuan turned over the agreement. I will dissuade Ichinose and the others from returning to school and reporting to the student council that you beat Ibuki and the others. The handwriting was the same as you were fooled by Long Yuan when he went to the safe last night and saw it. And these are Oreki Houtarou's words. Long Yuan. What ahem. He knew that Oreki Houtarou was a poisonous person and knew how to predict him. And this offer was not something he could refuse. This time, he failed in the exam even if he lost points. When he returned to school, he was punished by being reported by Ichinose and deducted 100 points. At the same time, that almost means that all violent actions will be restricted. He will definitely be severely targeted by the student union. It will definitely be very painful at that time. So if he can keep these 100 points, there are still many active lines that he can operate. And Oreki-san continued. Finally, through calculations by Sake Inagi-san in my class, I got the information about the preferential recipients in all classes. Is Banliu. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 210. Katsuragi-san, one of the representatives of Class A, who was sitting on the side, frowned slightly. Banliu classmate is not feeling well, so he can only be absent. Result. Are you actually contributing secretly? So. Long Yuan has already made a decision. If that's your choice, then I, Class C, are willing to sign. Ryuan, you must have taken the wrong medicine. Kanzaki-san couldn't understand that Ryuan gave up so quickly. Because this is directly equivalent to skipping this exam and then collecting half of the points from everyone. Isn't this a situation where only Class A wins? I only act for my class, Ryuan said. I admit, I lost this time. But I don't want to get nothing just like this. Although it's disgusting, I still have a debt of 500,000 to repay, and the monkey group's preferential recipient is in my class. So although it hasn't been announced yet, it's minus 50 points. Ryuan said. But there is also a chance for a comeback. The mobile phones of students in Class D have been taken away, so their preferential recipient information cannot be obtained at all. And Class A, who is on the same side as Oreki, will definitely not betray him. So, Kanzaki, do you want to cooperate with me? Ryuan said. I'm afraid this is the only chance. That's impossible, but Kanzaki-san from Class B immediately refused. Right. Even Archangel Ichi-Nose would not accept Ryuan as a collaborator again. Because how could Long Yuan throw spies over after signing the agreement to exchange basic supplies? So if Class B shared the preferential treatment information with Ryuan, what if Ryuan betrayed it again? Class B can't lose. Then there is absolutely no chance of winning, Long Yuan said. So let's talk about gains and losses. I am willing to sign and guarantee that all students in Class C will follow Result 1. However, I need to add a condition. Ichi-Nose, you took photos of Ibuki and the others being beaten, right? I want you to give up reporting this matter to the student union. And if this cannot be accomplished, then I will not sign, Ryuan said. Why? Kanzaki-san looked over. Report to the student union, and they have consulted the class teacher, Hashinomi Yachiya, to ensure that 100 points of class evaluation points will be deducted from Class C where Ryuan is located. And this is also a plan for their class leader's identity to be revealed, and then Ryuan can be suppressed. The students of Class A agree, but at this time, Katsuragi-san picked up the pen and signed directly. Katsuragi was originally from Class A, but this time the test result was 1, so the class evaluation score would not be involved, so Class A consolidated its position, and then, everyone got points anyway. Then naturally there will be no objection. I agree with Class D, Horikita Suzun said. For this exam, I initially wanted to pass the exam with result 2, but if I can get extra points, I'm willing to accept it. Get some points dash. Hirata-san, who was roped in to make up the numbers and was also a good gentleman in Class D, began to think. Class D's current class evaluation score is 730, and according to their words, the monkey group exam was terminated early by Juyuan Temple. And according to the self-confidence of Juyuan-ji-san, that means another at 50 points. And even if it is like the previous exam, part of it must be given to Takaharaji or Horikita-san. Then everyone can already guarantee living expenses of at least 40,000 per month. But if you go to result 1, then everyone can get 500,000 points. Even if Oreki-san takes half of it, you still have 250,000 points. Even if you get 50,000 points a month, you can live a good life. Therefore, the 250,000 received can last for 5 months with peace of mind. Therefore, this is free living expenses earned for everyone. Conducive to the stability of the class. Hirata thinks it's okay. He just wants harmony in the class. So I also signed my name. Then it was Kushida-san's turn. In fact, Kushida-san should have objected at this time, because why should she take away half of everyone's points? However, she still had the negative feeling of betraying Class D just now, so she looked at Hirata's signature and signed her own too. Name. Anyway, just don't carry the pot alone. Moreover, as a student of Class D, if she takes result 1, she can also get 250,000. At the same time, the annoying Horikita Suzun promised to transfer 200,000 to her. Not to mention she's the favored recipient of the dragon category, so you get more points. From her own point of view, she really had no reason to refuse. So, now only Class B is left here. And Ryuan's previous words were quite straightforward. As long as Class B agrees not to report Ryuan for beating someone, Ryuan will sign. Therefore, now it depends on the opinions of Ichi-Nose and Kanzaki. I have to think about it, Ichi-Nose said. Ichi-Nose, are you serious? Kanzaki didn't understand. Ichi-Nose pursed her lips and did not respond. Because she has discovered Oreki-san's thoughts. In fact, she initially chose the rabbit team for result 1. This was because Oreki-san was in the rabbit team, so it was difficult to find information about the recipients of the rabbit team. That being the case, then it is better to choose the most beneficial one. If you don't get the class evaluation score, you get a lot of points. If all students take the result 1. Although the monkey group ended the exam early. But there are only 3 students in Class B in the monkey group, and apart from the 3 preferential treatment recipients, the other Class B students can also bring 50x, 40 minus 3 minus 3, equals 17 million to the class. Among them, even according to the agreement, half of the points should be given to Oreki-san. But Class B can also save 8.5 million. Already know that 20 million points can be promoted Oregon exempted from the penalty of dropping out of school. So the 8.5 million points saved can be used in many places. If you guess correctly who is receiving preferential treatment in other classes, you can directly shorten the 100-point gap in class evaluation scores. But you have to be able to guess it. Currently, even her own rabbit group cannot tell who is the preferential one. Because Class A did not participate in the discussion, the students in Class D were all on standby and had no idea who was receiving preferential treatment. So the difficulty has increased a lot. If Ichi-nose wants to sign, you sign, but Kanzaki-san said, I can't accept that. If we miss this opportunity, it will be difficult for us to get promoted. No. Ichi-nose Tsuyoshi wanted to persuade Kanzaki-san because the current situation was not right. It was not time for them to object. Only to find that Oreki-san picked up his cell phone. It seemed like a number was dialed. The number was quickly connected. Hashimoto, let's answer the question, Oreki said. Only 7 short words. But within 10 seconds, a beep sounded from the newly installed speaker in the private room. The exam for the cattle group is over. Students in the cow group do not have to take the test again. Please act on your own, but do not disrupt other students' exams. Among them, the preferential recipients of the cow group are the students of Class B. And it's very unlucky that the student from Class B is Chihiro Babo, the leader of Class B in the last island exam. In other words, if the guess is correct, then Class B will be deducted 50 points. How so? Kanzaki-san was in a daze. I probably didn't expect that, just because I was too talkative, my class's preferential treatment information would be -1. Then it also means that the class evaluation score is -50. Then Class A is add 50. In this way, it immediately becomes further to climb higher than Class A. Ichi-nose. This sudden development made Ichi-nose a little confused. But she can react. Take a look. What Oreki-san is currently getting is information about the recipients of favors in all classes. And this was where she couldn't struggle. The only option is to join forces with Ryuan, but Ryuan is no longer trustworthy and cannot take risks. If he is betrayed, he may get less than half of the points. So that's why she just wanted to sign. Because there is no choice. And now, the information about the preferential recipients of the NEU group has been answered in advance. As the preferential recipient of the NEU group, Baibo may cry again. It's obviously not her fault, but this happens to her every time. Then if you don't pay attention, the class will lose points. Ichi-nose felt helpless. Please wake up a little bit, Oreki-san said. It is also necessary to choose to give up appropriately. Especially the school where strength is paramount. I originally wanted to end things efficiently. But you still delayed it? I don't like trouble. So I want to keep the information of the 2 remaining recipients and gain points to make a difference. Then sign quickly. At the same time, the points that the bull team lacks, this responsibility must be borne by Class B, Oreki-san said. A group of 13-14 people.